how to have really smooth transitions, and also how to use velocity in Sony Vegas. So the reason I didn't post this is because I didn't actually know how to do it, so I had to learn it. It's really easy to learn, actually. My friend Trout taught me how to do it, so full credit to Trout. I've kind of taken his settings and tweaked them a little bit, so I'm going to be showing you my settings, and this is really something you can mess around with and kind of make it your own. And once you get it down, it's really easy to duplicate and keep doing over and over again, and you can change it up a lot. So first I'm going to be going through the velocity, because that's the first thing you want to do, and then we'll go through the pan crop, which is the actual transition. So if you already know how to use velocity, I'll add an annotation somewhere on here where you can click on that annotation and it'll take you to the pan and crop settings. So I will do that. Also, as well, I will leave the clip and song in the description below. I will also link Trout in the description below, mainly because he's the reason for this tutorial. And also, these clips are from his editing pack. So if you go to his clip pack, then you can download the rest of the clips, not just these 3. So with everything being said, let's get started. Alright, so I have my clips here, just a couple of little clips. I can pre-render it for you, I guess. Alright, so that's just the raw clips, and it's okay to have these cut like that. That little V at the top is the clip basically restarting, and for velocity that's gonna be gone, so we don't have to worry about that. So first thing is first, let's disable resample on all of our clips, which I've already done. So to do that, just right click, go to switches, and disable your resample. The next thing you want to do is go through and add your markers, which I've already done for the sake of this video. So find where you want to do your transitions at and just press M as in monkey on your keyboard, and you can add those markers. After that, you want to find the start point for your first clip. So I have it right where he jumps is where I want my start point to be. So we're ready to start now. So to add the velocity, just right click on your clip, go to insert, remove envelope, and velocity is right there. It's the only option. And just to show you how velocity kind of works, this is going to be sort of a longer tutorial. Sorry, but I'd like to be thorough. So basically how velocity works, if you move it up, it's going to make your speed faster. It goes to 300%. And if you move it down, it'll make it slower. And all the way down will actually reverse time. So when you're moving down, you have to be careful. But for these settings, you're going to bring the velocity all the way up on the first keyframe, and then we're going to go about maybe a quarter of the way through, and we're just going to double click on the velocity line. And I don't know if you can see it, but it added like a dot, and the resolution on my screen isn't that good, probably for YouTube, but there is a little dot right there. So it's basically like a keyframe for your velocity. So we added one there. So now we're just going to right click on that dot and click set to. It's the 4th option down, and then it'll be highlighted. Right now it's at 300%. So high frames per second clips are going to be very important here. This is 600 frames per second. 60 frames per second, you may have to tweak these settings a little tiny bit just to let you know, or else you get some kind of like lagginess and it's going to look weird. But for these settings that I'm going to do, I'm going to add this to 10%. So just type in 10 and press enter, and it is a percentage, so 10. And then you're going to notice this little slope, so it slowly goes down into 10%. But it's just not as smooth as we want it to be. So I'm actually going to right click on that slope, and we're going to select fast fade, and it's going to give it like a quarter pipe type look, or like a bowl type look, and that's going to make it slowly and smoothly go to 10%. And now we're going to do the same thing that we just did on the other side. So I'm going to double click on the velocity line and double click on my marker, because that's where it's going to transition. And I'm just going to take this dot and drag it up to the top, and you will notice that it's like that, the little V again. But easy way to fix that, right click on the slope again, and it is different for this side. So just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to show you what it looks like with fast fade again, and it's the actual opposite of what we want. So if we right click it and select slow fade on the far right slope, then it'll give us that nice bowl shape, and you can see that the clip still repeats. So you can move these around, those little keyframes, and get them to where they're not showing and it's not repeating. So that will work. It's gone. So there is something you kind of have to mess around with. Alright, just pre-render this out for you so you can see what it kind of looks like. Alright, so that looks pretty nice. You're not going to notice it looks super clean right away. Velocity will only change the time. So we're going to repeat this process for the next 2 clips, and this shouldn't take very long. So I'm not going to skip ahead. I'm just going to do it real quick. If I go too fast, just refer back to the beginning of the video, I guess. But this is something that is pretty easy to remember and really easy to duplicate. So you guys shouldn't have a problem doing this. Whoops. Probably right there. Oh, whatever. It doesn't need to be perfect every time. You can definitely mess with this stuff. So those are pretty done. RAM preview that, see what it looks like. That looks pretty nice. Alright, so that looks pretty nice for not even having a pan crop in there. So already this edit is looking 20 times better than it did before. So now we're going to go into the smooth transitions. This is actually pretty easy. I was pretty surprised at how easy it was. So I'm going to teach you the exact settings I did in the preview in the beginning of this tutorial. There are a lot of different ways you can mess with it and all kinds of stuff. So what I basically do is I like to go from the top left of the clip to the bottom right, because usually, well, most books are written left to right, so that's how people in the US at least, I mean, I think like there's some country in like Asia or something that read right to left, which is weird, but our eyes typically look left to right, so I like to go from the top left to the bottom right on my transitions, just because it just looks more natural. So we're gonna do our pan crop now. So there's a little speech bubble looking thing right here. It looks kind of like a square. Just click on that. It's called Event Pan Crop. Select your first keyframe and make sure these 2 options right here are selected, because those are gonna be real important so we have consistency. So this guy, lock aspect ratio, and size about center. Now for our first keyframe, we're gonna drag in. If you want it to be more consistent, you can press shift and then just drag in from the corner, and we're going to make it really small, so the option right before you can't even see it is where we're going to put it, and we're just going to drag it and put it up here in the top left corner, and obviously you can't see anything. So that's really our first keyframe. Now somewhere around here next to our 3rd velocity keyframe is where we're going to add our pan out. I like to do it a little bit before, so it doesn't look so rushed towards the end, especially if your markers are really close together. You may not be able to see it and it'll look weird. So I like to do it somewhere around right here. We're just going to right click on our preview and press restore, and that's going to bring it right back to 100%. What I did with this is, you can definitely mess around with it. I think I brought it in to about right there in the preview, because I didn't want the guy to not be visible. I wanted people to see him. So this is where it's basically going to go to. It's going to pan out in the preview and go to him. Alright, so select that keyframe, and that's our second keyframe. Now this isn't completely done, so just bear with me here. Now we're going to go to our very last keyframe. You can't see it in this preview, but you should be able to see it in here. So again, just go to the corner, press shift, whoops, and drag it in really small, and just put it right here in the bottom right corner. So now if I go through frame by frame, you'll be able to see it get bigger and then rush down into that bottom right corner, and that's going to be the transition. But we're not done. The next thing we're going to do, let me just show you what that looks like first, I guess. It's not going to look really clean, you're going to see. Yeah, it doesn't look that nice. It looks kind of amateur, but we're about to make it pro. So we're going to go back to our first keyframe again and just right click on that keyframe, and you're going to get a bunch of little options right here. And for the first one, we're going to select fast, and I'll explain why I'm doing this after I do it. For the second keyframe, on your pan out, you're going to right click that one and select slow. And for the very last keyframe, right click on that one and select fast again. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to pan really fast in the beginning and then slowly ease into the pan out, and then quickly go pan in again for that nice smooth transition. And this is probably the most important part of this tutorial. So let's preview that and see what it looks like. Alright, that looks really nice. I may want to bring this out a little bit more. It is something that's going to be different every time you do it, but I mean, it's going to look consistent. Alright, that looks really nice. So really just repeat this process for each of your clips, depending, if you want it to look the same every time. For the sake of the tutorial though, I am going to make it look the same every time. So I'll bring that over there. And the reason I do the slow and fast right clicking afterwards is because when you press restore, it restores these keyframes to defaults, so back to linear. And then you'll basically end up going through and doing everything twice. So that's never fun, to do more work than you need to. So just quickly going through this. About right here. Restore. Last keyframe. Make it real small, bottom right corner. RAM preview that real quick. Oh, I didn't fix this one. You'll be able to see if you forget something. It'll look weird. My computer's running slow. I'm getting a new computer soon. I hope, at least. And for this one, I don't really want it out that far, so I'm going to bring this one in a little bit. That looks nice right there. Leave that right there. This one, bring this one in a little bit too. That looks good. Alright, RAM preview. Alright, that looks nice. So this effect, make it your own. A lot of people use it. I know it's kind of hard to find tutorials for it, so hopefully people looking for it can find this tutorial, and hopefully it helped you guys. It is a really cool effect. It'll add a lot of flavor to your edits, and I don't know, it'll really help you out. Don't use it too much. You don't want to, be seen as the guy that copies everybody's style. I used it in a dual edit that I'll be posting soon, and I don't know if I'll ever use it again. I don't know, but it's definitely fun. It's definitely a lot of fun to work with. So that's really it, guys. That's all I have for you. It's really easy. It's easy to learn, and it's a lot of fun to mess around with. So leave a like and a comment if you did enjoy this tutorial. Subscribe if you want more tutorials. I am going to be coming out with more soon. I've been so busy with this scene for LA. I mean, I'm getting headaches just thinking about it. I'm so stressed out, but wish me luck. Everything you need is in the description. So thanks, guys. I do read the comments too, so leave a comment if you have a question. Add me on Skype. Oh, real quick, I am gonna probably be making a new Skype when if I hit 5,000 subscribers, because that is gonna be way too many people on my Skype. That's gonna be a lot. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet. I may make a Twitter. I don't know, but this is just something going through my head right now. So anyway.